Well, President Trump, in the meantime, following through on his October promise to address issues impacting law enforcement. Listen.
President Trump is an unwavering supporter of our men and women in blue, and he recognized that this commission is much needed to support law enforcement. And it is, to be sure, long overdue. Law enforcement faces more and greater challenges than ever before.
Well, Attorney General Barr officially launching the Presidential Commission on Law Enforcement and the Administration of Justice. Here to weigh in on the biggest issues the DOJ should be addressing, former NYPD officer Dr. Darren Porcher, retired NYPD Deputy Inspector Dr. Andrew Costello, and Blue Lives Matter NYC founder Joseph Imperatrice. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. So let's just begin there. What issues should the DOJ be addressing? And I'll begin with you, Dr. Porcher.
One of the first things is technological innovations. This is something that's paramount when we look at law enforcement, because we look at the paramount with the parity with the civilian population, police, such as cell phones and things to that effect. So it's necessary that the police departments have the necessary resources in connection with matching up with the crimes that are being committed. On the cyber network, this is going at an optimum level. Therefore, law enforcement needs to stay abreast to the current codes and techniques that are being used.
Definitely important. Dr. Costello?
I would agree with him. Attorney General Barr hit it right on the head with bringing a training campaign for these types of cyber crimes and identity theft-related issues. Your current issues right now, most law enforcement agencies aren't prepared to deal with them, as well as prosecutors are able to handle them. I mean, we can take a look at identity theft. You're talking about a crime that can be committed technically in 3 separate jurisdictions. No one wants to own the jurisdiction.
Right, yeah.
Like, for example, you could live in Manhattan. The crime could occur in a server outside the country. The proceeds of the stolen items or whatever could be delivered to another place in another state. No one seems to want to take ownership of this.
That makes sense.
Well, we have a simple solution. You just have it that wherever the victim lives, that's the jurisdiction that should be taking care of it.
Joe?
AG Barr, President Trump, and Vice President Pence have been huge supporters since day one. They've always looked to try to enhance the quality of life of officers. One, nationwide, no matter New York City or California, is morale. Second is the 228, the uptick of suicides in policing. And third is no one wants to be the next Officer Darren Wilson or Officer Daniel Pantaleo for doing their job. They want to go out there, not be afraid when they put handcuffs on that they're going to go on the other side of the law. And they just want to, they want to enjoy and just help the public. They don't have to worry about being the next headline in the news.
Yeah, and speaking of that, since you brought it up, we can take a look at this. More officers died from suicide than in the line of duty last year. Look at the numbers: 228 suicides, 134 died in the line of duty. And then I want to bring this up as well, because you were referencing this. You know, the trust in police, it is at a low point. 29% of Americans have a great deal of confidence in the police. So, Joe, I'll start with you on that and then bring it back up. What are your thoughts? How do we change those numbers?
No matter what you do, there's always going to be pushback. My grandfather always said, if you wanted to be loved, be a fireman, because it's never going to happen as a police officer. And there's always going to be pushback. Whenever there is authority or someone have to go out there taking away someone's rights, that's the biggest, I guess, superpower that police officers have, is the ability to make an arrest and take somebody off the street and take away their freedoms. And it's a big deal. And no matter what, people are always going to go against the grain when that happens.
Dr. Costello?
The times have changed. We need police agencies to disseminate information out more immediately, even if it's imperfect or not necessarily completely accurate. I'm not saying to put out false situations, but these agencies need to react faster, push information out early, and more importantly, react to information that is disingenuous, meaning it's technically accurate, but it leads to wrong conclusions.
Not be afraid of reacting as well, and more engagement in the communities.
Absolutely. There needs to be that police and community partnership. Both entities need to understand that they need to coexist as one. And when the community understands that they're a part of the police mission, I think that makes for a more fluid situation. And that's the focus when we look at having that relationship between police and community moving forward.
Well, we do know this is a promise that President Trump is keeping from the very beginning. He's been very pro-law enforcement, pro-first responders. So we'll see where it goes from here. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you for your service, as always. Great to have you back.